Nationwide efforts to protect children from gun violence. What do we need to do? We all agree something needs to be done. This is just a month after 3 children and 3 adults, 3 staffers, including the head of the school, were killed in Nashville. A growing number of Texas school districts are saying not on our watch, and they're hiring on-campus marshals. These are armed civilians employed by the school district, not the police department. I want to bring in Dr. Daniel Bober, board certified in child and adolescent psychiatry and former U.S. Senate mental health policy fellow. Dr. Bober, thank you very much. I think a lot of people are just at their wits' end. We've heard of teachers being armed with guns. Now there are actual civilians who are saying, sign me up, I'll protect our kids. I'll make sure none of these creeps, none of these evil people come in and harm one of your boys or girls. But is that the right response? And what does that do as a culture to all of us in terms of thinking around this topic?
Well, Adrienne, I think it's a terrible idea. Consider that between 2014 and 2018, there were over 30 incidents of law enforcement officers and teachers bringing guns to school and either losing control of the weapon or accidentally discharging the weapon. If you want to protect schools, start by protecting the mental health of children. And this starts at a very early age when parents teach their kids to put words to feelings and to learn to tolerate distress and frustration. We can do this every day with our kids by making them resilient. And this is something I think we need to focus on more than putting guns in schools.
Well, I think a lot of people would say that's a great preventative measure, starting young, having children learn how to process their emotions, having children articulate their anger or their rage, because many of these school shooters we see are around a certain age. We see them between the ages of 15 and 20-something. They're young people, often men, in the case of Nashville, a woman. But do you think that reactively people will say, enough is enough, we need to do something, and mental health ain't going to fix it?
Well, listen, less than 1% of firearm homicides are mass shootings. The odds of your child being in a mass shooting are about the same odds as being struck by lightning. So I think once the shooter gets to the school, I think you've already lost the battle. So I think if you focus more on giving kids access to mental health resources and early intervention, I think those resources are much better spent that way than arming teachers and school employees. There are so many different scenarios that I can think of why this is a bad idea. What's going to happen when you have an armed school employee and the police are called to an active shooter and they have to try to distinguish between the active shooter and the school employee? What's going to happen if a student and a teacher get into a conflict and the teacher grabs the weapon? You cannot make teachers and school employees police officers. You can give them training, but you can't give them experience. They are not law enforcement officers, and we need to leave the guns to the cops.
One more quick question. Is there any research that we can find that shows the mental health effects of children who are exposed to guns, even if it's with an armed resource, a school resource officer? I mean, because there are a number of campuses across the country where there are armed school resource officers. They know that those people have guns. They've been seeing it on their campuses for years. Or is it still early research that we need to wait for?
Well, I can tell you that the kids that I see in my office are kids that feel very confident when they see police officers with guns. They feel much safer. But consider this. Active shooter drills have been shown to increase feelings of depression and anxiety by 40%. So some of these interventions are actually making things worse. And I think we need to focus on not what feels good, but what makes sense from a policy perspective.
So just so that I reiterate this, you're saying that a lot of the young people that you're seeing feel more confident when they see a police officer in uniform with a weapon. They feel a sense of safety. But the drills
Absolutely.
Themselves are anxiety-inducing.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's something we all need to look at. What can we do differently to prepare our young people? Dr. Daniel Bober, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.